Hello everybody, Senior Engineer, MBA, and Investor. In today's video, I wanted to basically talk about the markets currently, the times we are living in. And I want to sort of have this session where I can just freely talk about, what are my thoughts here in the market, considering that I haven't made a video yesterday and I had some time to think about it. I didn't make a video last 2 days actually, and I had some time to think about it. So obviously, right now we're in a market crash, right? We're in a recession. It's similar to what we've been experiencing the last few months. I would argue almost a year, to be honest. In the biotech space, we've literally been in a recession for more than a year. One may argue we've been in a recession since 2021, the month of February, which we're nearing the 2 years mark very, very soon, guys. It's already October 2022, right? We're almost 2023. It's crazy. But the point is that we're in a market recession, and obviously there's a lot of macro environments going on, right? The obvious first one is, Russia invasion in Ukraine. That situation over there does not seem like it's ending anytime soon, and that is putting a lot of uncertainty in the markets. And then, of course, you have the obvious second position, which is inflation, which is a huge issue in most nations, if not all nations. It's been an issue for a while. It's not like, let's not lie, like, it's not like it just came up the last 2 years. This was an issue for quite a few years, quite a few decades, actually. But obviously, the pandemic accelerated things. I would argue the pandemic accelerated literally everything. Work from home. I mean, everything that you can think of, it just accelerated everything, including inflation rate. Because what happened is governments around the world started printing lots of money for good or bad reasons, depending on how you see it. And now we're in this situation today where things are going a lot more expensive. I mean, just your regular gas, just your foods at the markets, and of course your stocks over the last 2 years in 2020, 2021 also went up. And obviously things have to recover, and stocks were hit really, really hard. Real estate is being hit as well as we speak, although that's going to take a lot longer to play out. Generally, just because of how real estate is as an asset, a little bit lagging in sometimes in terms of macro environments. And then, of course, because of liquidity, right? You got to think about it. To sell a home, it takes weeks, months, if not a year sometime for less desired location. So based on that definition alone, compare that with stocks where you can literally sell and buy within a second, right? You press a button on your app, you buy, you press another button on your app, you sell. I mean, liquidity compared to those type of assets in real estate is very, very low. For good and bad reasons, right? For good and bad reasons, but that's what it is for that. And of course, now we're talking about Crispr companies and biotech companies. And to me, it's always been a question of where we stand in technology. It's always been about that for me. I mean, we just took a look in the last video about how Beam, 101 is moving forward there, dosing their first patient, which is amazing to hear. So now officially every CRISPR company in US, the CRISPR companies that we usually talk about, right? I'm sure there are some public CRISPR companies like Asia or something. I'm sure there are that I'm not aware of, or I don't cover, that have not those patients or something along those lines. But every CRISPR company in the companies that we've covered in this channel so far has now officially dosed a patient. We've not gotten data from all those companies yet, but of course, by this time of next year, absolutely we'll be getting some sort of form of data for every single program, including Beam 101 from Beam Therapeutics. On top of all of that, we have the obvious CTI-001 submission for FDA approval. I think that's going to be amazing. I think that's going to be a success. I think a lot of people are underestimating the power of having an FDA-approved CRISPR drug therapy. Not only it'll allow Crispr Therapeutics to be more credible as a company, and Vertex to grow as a company, in my opinion, to be the top big pharma company in the world, but also it adds credibility on the CRISPR technology, right? Because really the naysayers and people that aren't really fully backing this technology, that's their only argument at this point. Where is the commercial therapy here? Where is the commercial option to CRISPR? And there is none right now. There's none. And there won't be anytime soon this year. But we are expecting by early 2023 to have hexacell CT001 to have CRISPR as the first time ever to be FDA approved as a drug therapy. So very, very excited for that. And then, the third point there is you're getting a lots of companies' data, whether that's Caribou, Verve Therapeutics. You're going to be getting data from NTLA, which is an amazing success story with two successful CRISPR companies at this point. The first ever CRISPR company to do that, and also the first ever company to show excessive, great data for in vivo throughout their two program, NTLA 2001 and NTLA 2002, which they fully own, that second program. Very important note to be made, because when you own 100% of the profits, you're obviously going to be potentially making a lot more than if you own 50% of the program. So obviously here, lots of good things are happening in the CRISPR space. Unfortunately, we are in times of macro environment, inflation, recession, uncertainties in the political side of things. You see what's happening with Iran, with the protests over there. You see what's happening obviously in Ukraine. You see what's happening in the election in Brazil. There's lots of things going on. But I think long term, we are in a really, really good position. I heard in the All In podcast there with Chamath, Jason, and the other two guys there, they said something like that someone expected, like I think it was Drunken Miller, I don't know who it was, but some big billionaire who's always been right in the market said something like we may be seeing this recession go in the stock market for at least till 2030. And that means in the next 7 years and a half. I don't think I buy that. I think that's a little bit excessive. I think that's crazy. Even the 2008 recession caused 2008, 9, 10, 11. And that by then, most stocks were back to their all-time highs by 11 and 12. So that's 4 years. In the dot-com boom, it was like 2000, 2001, 2002, really 3 years. I think this recession started in the end of 2021. I think it'll go through 2023. I don't think it'll go as far because don't forget unemployment is still really good for most nations. I mean, we did go through a pandemic, a boom, a post-pandemic boom. So people are going back to work. People are going back to, traveling. Business is opening up. There are lots of innovation happening right now. And of course, with the advances of technology like AI and machine learning, I don't think it's going to be 7 years and a half of recession, but I really think we may be in this ride for a couple more months, if not a year, maybe 2 years maximum. I don't see us going beyond that. I mean, at that point, it's already going to be like 3 years and a half and more. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think, guys. Just wanted to freely think here, have an open discussion here. I like these types of videos because they get my brains juicing, right? And hopefully get your brains juicing. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Do like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and hopefully you guys have a great Thanksgiving for Canadians there. A long weekend for us, so also enjoy. Thank you.